Well, good afternoon to all of you. It's good to see a large crowd today. And hello to the web, those on the web. Welcome as well. I want to say a special hello to Dennis and Linda, and also Paul Smith, if he's online. I hope he's listening. Well, here we are in the middle of the days of unleavened bread. I assume all of you are unleavened. And this is an important season for us. It really is. The Passover and the days of unleavened bread are very, very important. The title of my sermonette is Why Passover and the Days of Unleavened Bread Are So Special. And they are special, as I hope to show you today. I have 4 points that I want to bring to you, and I'm going to read a couple of verses from Exodus, and you've probably read them many times before. Exodus 12 and verse 1. It says, Now the Lord spoke to Moses and Aaron in the land of Egypt, saying, This month shall be your beginning of months. It shall be the first month of the year to you. So my first point is the Passover is a time of beginnings. It is a time of beginnings. It was a time of beginnings for ancient Israel, and it is also for us, if you think about it. Some have wondered why God had to tell them that springtime was the beginning of months for them, and I don't think we know the answer. Possibly it's because in an agrarian society, when the harvest is over, you kind of say that year is ended and the next one begins. So it's in some ways the new harvest year begins in the fall, because you go through winter getting ready for the spring planting. But we really don't know. That's just speculation, more or less. We don't really know. Others have thought this, since they were in Egypt for so long, perhaps they were used to keeping time with the Egyptians, and apparently the Egyptians did look at the fall as a time of beginning. In any case, it doesn't make any difference. But this is a time for beginnings for us as well. If you remember, when you were baptized, you were beginning. You were beginning on the walk with Christ and wanting to live by his precepts and do what he required of us. So that was a beginning for us. Also at that time, if you remember, in that time we had what we call in the church the first love, and I remember that well. I mean, when I learned the truth of God, I was so excited. You know, I had never heard anything like that in my life, and when I understood, you know, what the Bible was all about and what Christianity was really all about, I was excited, and I had that first love. And in Revelations, it says we need to rekindle that first love. So that's one of the things we can do during this feast time, Passover and Days of Unleavened Bread, to rekindle that love that we once had. The next point I'd like to make is this is a time of remembrance, a time of remembrance. Again, in Exodus 12, verse 14, I'm just going to read the one verse, and I want to read it in a couple of translations, actually 3. In the King James, it says, "So this day shall be to you a memorial, and you shall keep it as a feast to the Lord throughout your generations. You shall keep it as a feast by an everlasting ordinance." An everlasting ordinance. That means it's not over tomorrow or the next day. It says it's everlasting. In the New Living Translation, it says this: "This is a day to remember." A day to remember. "Each year from generation to generation, you shall celebrate it as a special festival to the Lord. This is a law for all time." So it doesn't sound like it's done away, does it? In the Net Translation, it says this: "This day will become a memorial for you." And that's an interesting way to say it. It means it's a continuing thing. It says it will become a memorial for you. And you will celebrate it as a festival to the Lord, and will celebrate it perpetually as a lasting ordinance. So all of those translations make the point that this is a continuing festival that we should keep throughout our generations. The next point I would like to bring out is the Passover and the days of unleavened bread serve as a recommitment to our covenant with God. And, we did that on the Passover. We took the New Testament Passover, and that's sort of a recommitment that we have made with God to walk in his ways. The Jews do an interesting thing on their Seder, which they keep on the 15th, not the 14th. They have 4 cups of wine, and this is not biblical. This is Jewish, and they say these 4 cups of wine mean 4 different things. It means, they say the first one means I will bring you out. The first one I will deliver. The second one I will redeem, and the fourth one I will take. So they also claim that they derived that from Exodus 6, beginning in verse 6. If you'd like to turn there and read along with me, I'll show you that scripture. In Exodus 6, verse 6, it says, "Therefore say to the children of Israel, I am the Lord." And notice the phrase, "I will." It says, "I will bring you out from under the burdens of the Egyptians. I will rescue you from their bondage. I will redeem you with an outstretched arm and with great judgments." Verse 7 says, "I will take you as my people, and I will be your God. And then you shall know that I am the Lord and your God, who brings you out from under the bondage of the Egyptians." So the Jews say that's where they get the names of these 4 glasses of wine. And I was thinking that's a lot of wine to drink in one night. There must be small glasses. We hope so. So in a sense, though, when you think about it, don't we do the same thing? Don't we understand the same thing? Don't we understand that when God called us and we were baptized, that he leads us out of sin, and that he delivers us from this world, and that he redeems us from the bondage of sin or Egypt, and takes us as his own? You could find all of those references in the New Testament. I don't have time to look them up and bring them out, but you might want to do that. Number 4, the fourth point I have is Passover is a special is special because of a second chance to observe it. And it's interesting that no other festival, none, do you have that ability. If you miss trumpets, you just missed it. You can't keep it again. But Passover is not that way. So if you would like to turn to Numbers, Numbers 9, and we're going to read a few verses there. In Numbers 9, 1 through 5, it talks about the first Passover. So I don't want to read that. I'm going to jump down to verse 6. It says, "Now there were certain men who were defiled by human corpse, so that they could not keep the Passover on that day. And they came before Moses and Aaron that day. And these men said to him, 'We became defiled by human corpse. Why are we kept from presenting the offering of the Lord at its appointed time among the children of Israel?' And Moses said to them, 'Stand still, that I may hear what the Lord will command concerning you.' Then the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, verse 10, 'Speak to the children of Israel, saying, if any one of you or your posterity is unclean because of a corpse, or is far away on a journey,'" so there are a couple of reasons, far away on a journey, "he may still keep the Lord's Passover on the 14th day of the second month at twilight." So you keep it at the same time. "They may keep it, and they shall eat it with unleavened bread and bitter herbs." Now somebody in message chat's going to say, do they have to keep the 7 days of unleavened bread? And I have an answer for that. I don't know. So anyway, that's the 4 points that I have today. And this is a special time for us. It is a new beginning. And even though some of us have been around for a long, long time, we still need to remember that first beginning that we had. And remember, as it's told to the church of Ephesus, I think, he said, "You have lost your first love." And we need to rekindle that first love and keep it.